Okay. Keep breathing. Because we need to. Oh, hi, Harimandir. Okay. So here we go. So using your breath and we will tune in. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo Adgare Jugate Sahaj Siri Gurudev Namo Adgare Jugate Sahaj
Siri Gurudev
Namo Adgare Jugate
Satguru Name Siri Gurudev
Name. Breathe. And now we have our chat. Have you all your chat? Okay. So, Japa Saraswati, can you read that?
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, so if you need to leave early, please tell us now so that we can sequence you. And then last week, our meditation from Baba Siri Chand was about how to use our special healing practice to transform our own fears during the past week for our healing practice. Today is so simple. Tune in, then remember for last week, from everyday self, what was your special fear? What was your own healing? What was your own healing practice from Baba Siri Chand? Were you able to use your own healing practice during this past week? Then give each a short listen for everyone. 1 minute of heart pumping, 4 minutes of heart breath, and then we will all share. Are there any questions?
Anybody? Do you listen for that last week?
I'm going to confess that I don't even remember last week. It was like a lifetime ago. And I usually am sitting next to my notepad that I can look back on what I wrote last week, and it's very nice actually. But today I'm in the car on the riverfront and I don't have the advantage of my notepad. So I'm gonna listen from Baba Siri Chand and see what he says.
Your deepest fear. That's got to be there somewhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
your practice. Okay, so everybody, do you still need that? I mean, everybody listen to Baba Siri Chand and also about your Baba Siri Chand practice. And actually, I talked people a few days ago to listen to your own practice from Baba Siri Chand. Remember that. Does everybody hear that?
I'm ready.
Yes. I'm ready.
Ready.
Wonderful. Okay, so here we go with the meditation. 1 minute heart pumping, 4 minutes heart breath, and continue. Oh, yeah. And now continue heart breath.
And it would be good if people muted themselves.
Inhale. And continue breath. And now, Aagia Pal, first of all, would you please remember about your own Baba Siri Chand practice for fear?
Mm-hmm. So it's changes. It's changing. And
tell me again.
It's changing, it's not a static practice. So what I hear in what he's helped me to develop is this paying attention. He says, pay attention and listen. Not, this is not a sophisticated, this is much more simple. Just pay attention and listen, and then put myself in a space of love and feel the love. And as I do that, he shows me his aura on fire, like flames all around him, and the heart, like a volcano, is erupting, and it's sending sparks all over, and for me to connect to that. So this is a bit of a new practice. And what I noticed when I was and also I try to go back to that space multiple times a day whenever I think of it, when I can. And what I've noticed today was a shift in how I tune into soul, the space around me, and to the cosmic beings and my helpers, and to Guru. It's a different sense. Words are just not, they are paling in comparison to what the real feeling is. It's like when I do this practice, I feel like I'm in a strong, I don't want to say thick, but it's a very palpable presence with a capital P. And so that's a shift. It's never been like that strong before. So, and also what comes with it is more of a paying it, a more awareness that Guru is around me, is through me. I am in Guru, and it's if I have moved into a new dimension of love has moved me into this new dimension, and I'm not really explaining it well, but it's just that I'm looking at everything through different, shall I say, a different heart lens, and it's a clearer heart lens, and without, with less fear, less mistrust, all of that, more assured awareness of Guru all around me, and that I live and breathe and do my work and live in this presence. And so that's been the shift, the most recent shift, with the, the one-leggeds all around abiding.
Oh, the one-legged. Say that again. Say what that is.
Trees, the trees, right? So they're all around the one-leggeds, the trees all around, just feeling the being in the energy of peace, of pasture, of wild animals that are peaceful. And so I guess that's what I wanted to share. And it's really tons of gratitude. Oh, and the last thing that I heard from Baba was, now you can jump through the fiery hoop from one side to another, and without fear or worry that you'll be hurt, or you'll be in some way destroyed. Now you can jump through the fiery hoop because you're going to be needing to the courage to do that in the world.
Mm.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
So that's it.
Okay. So are you saying that you simply had gone with no more fear?
Well, less. So I vacillate, but sometimes I have more than, but overall, I would say, I would calibrate my fear level from 0, to 10 as like today is like a 2 or a 3. So, and I think this practice that has shifted me into this dimension of real, palpable presence has, has really helped.
Wow.
Because I'm not alone. I feel I'm there. I'm not alone, and this is Guru's here. Not out there somewhere. Is right here.
Is here.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. It was quite a eye opener and shift for me today. Thank you.
Great. Okay. And by the way, we might even have another meditation later. Okay. Gian Das Prem. Okay, so first of all, what about Baba Siri Chand telling you about your practice for fear?
So from last week, it was and through the practice, daily practice of kirtan, kriya, the tapping into tapping. So coming from last week into this year, noticing like personally and within the soul of the changes within my body and whatnot, and nature, and what I'm noticing more with that's what's going on, with the vibration, and coming into alignment with a little bit more softening within the practice, because there is a lot of physical activity going on there, and I'm noticing that through the tapping, it was the message was brought into my practice for, actually going into the practice of tapping, meridian points, to other parts on my body, and then to using those points and ways of movement to further come into alignment with the physical structure of my body. And noticing the inside of my body more, like taking a look at the organs again, looking at the pictures and whatnot, and my diet, with the full diet, coming back to the full diet of the ingestion, of the words and the food and the ideas of the vibration of the body becoming a direct alignment to what's coming in and going out of my words and my food. And the water becoming a really important part of that diet, and noticing the consumption of the water a little bit more, probably bringing it up. In a spiritual way, of the channels that we are opening through other people and creating communications, that there will be through the actual intelligence and the shared intelligence through mechanical ways, call it artificial intelligence, if you want, and bringing that together with, the mirrors and the cameras and the water and that way of looking through the third eye too. It can be coming to a way of clearness and simplicity, through that kind-hearted way of, the movement that we're doing as we're being amongst other people. And the reminders I was given this week through celebrations of saying goodbye to a couple of people. We sat in the trees and we came together with the noticing, the roots of the trees and the different types of trees and branches and people that were gathering together, and the matter of decay of which is happening, and then that with also the science catching up to that too, right? There's so many ways that's coming forward, that can be in our lives in a simple manner of noticing the water. And it was it the Arapaho or the Navajo that were very well at making pottery, and there are ways that we can use simple elements of the earth to clean our water and to make it safe for us to drink. And I know I'm talking a lot. Here, it may seem like it's a circle, but if I go back to last week, there is a thread that comes through. There is a connection that happens from one being to another, and how we're moving together, and it's relating like to objects moving in space. Sometimes they're moving a little bit more faster when they're colliding, or how it works out, and just coming back to that mirror of all that movement and all of that power, and and then through the shame and the ego, coming back to face that with nature versus what's inside my body, and then noticing, feeling the vibrations inside of my body is, can we feel that? We can sort of feel when we speak, the generation of the energy that we may be creating is creating this power, right? So there's billions of people here now that we're trying to share together this power. So that projection of that way of peace and the kind-heartedness coming through is, yeah. And the image that I was given was being under the water and looking up, and seeing someone else, on the other side of the water, and maybe coming up through the water, and noticing that there's a little bit of a mirror going on, right? From the person maybe doesn't know you're under the water, or however it's working out with our, we can relate it to falling or losing, or coming away from that life. So it can become confusing, but when we look in the mirror, it's kind of simple, right? That we're a life here creating this simplicity. So yeah, coming back to that, way of the breath and trying to notice where we're moving, because we all have relationships in our lives and stuff that we can come back to that way. So yeah, like with the opening today and with the protection of coming together in voice, where we come together, that's so important, because we've been brought together in so many ways, and it's beautiful to come back to that loving awareness sort of feeling, right, where everything we're experiencing is it's love, or it's part of this creation that we're here with, put in a way for us to sort of try to handle it. So it can come back to a personal way if we notice we have scars on our body or whatnot, or signs that have reminded us. Yeah, and I think that moving through that way of healing is sort of a magical thing of the human race, that we're so close to healing that wound of the correction and direction. And so yeah, and the lyricist is really some sort of a way that the the rhymes come in there too, right? So I'm just being brought back to the sound of the birds and stuff, and how when crows get together, they can be silly if you listen to them and notice them. So yeah, pink, the color pink, it's really just so powerful when you think about it. When we go through the chakras or the bodies, and we can see those colors of different ways through that aura, is I just see this pink and the word love we were coming off of last week, and staying with that, and coming up through the heart and the head and the mouth. So Waheguru to, us coming to, our truths and the way through other people, and finding that peace through sometimes, our expression. Yeah. So it's okay if we're, there's others expressing themselves and we're here together. So yeah, let's be the peace that we're seeing, and kind of bring that forward. Yeah, through the love of the mother is still the picture that I see. So Waheguru, Waheguru. Thank you so much for this opportunity. You're giving our hearts and our souls out there through courage to share the word love, and that's through, yeah, the freedom of the peace of that flower. Thank you so much. Waheguru.
Thank you. That was good. Thank you so much.
It's too
Okay.
much.
Yes. Jot Gian Devi.
Siri, can you give me can I go like next, or give me some time?
Did you say a couple of?
Could you give me some, could you go ahead of me?
Oh,
Can someone else go ahead of me?
okay.
Thank-
So Sahaj. Sahaj, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was having a little bit of an issue negotiating the screens. I am not feeling entirely ready, but because I've been awake for like exactly 12 minutes. So for me, I had sort of figured the locus of the fear, and what the two things. My solution was to listen to the natural world, first, just for the peace that it brings, but also to actually ask, um, and then listen for answers. And the other thing was, when it came to relationships with people that were, where there were wounds, like related to this fear, um, I I'm not really sure how. I discovered that in relation to one person that was sort of like they were in my mind and I didn't want them to be. I wanted to just let it all go and let that person go on their way. And I just thought, I owe you nothing. You owe me nothing. And at the time, that was a revelation. I was like, oh, okay. Wow, okay. I owe that person nothing and they owe me nothing. And so it's done. And that seemed to be a very magic phrase. So that is coming back to me a lot. If I start to feel worked up about anything, I drop into that space and it brings me into a neutral mind, because otherwise I'm operating on those emotions, which, or those fears. And if I can bring myself to a neutral mind space, I have enough room to step out of the fear state and look at whatever is tripping the trigger for that fear in a more neutral way. And because of that, it's I can actually come up with solutions for uh, alleviating my concerns, my fears or whatever, and bring myself into the present moment. Because fears are all rarely, unless you're in imminent danger, the bulk of our fears are not about the present moment. They're about the past or the future.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps. And also just being out in nature helps ground me in the present moment. Because um, you know, crazy politicians can be blowing up the world, but I'm sitting calmly on this beach, watching the tide slowly go out. And if I don't look too much in my periphery, I'm looking out at the same thing that people who were there 10,000 years ago were looking at. And that makes me feel much calmer.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the ways that I've employed my what I learned last week.
Wow. Okay. That
Okay,
sounds lovely.
thank you.
Thank you, dear. Okay, Harimandir. Harimandir. Okay, got it.
Aagia Pal's talk about the aura of flame and the heart as a volcano is a very powerful image that we can use in whatever practice we're doing. And also from what she was saying, it came to me that we have the frequency of forgiveness, which is very powerful and very specific, bringing us into what forgiveness feels like, and then bringing others into that frequency, into that vibration, which also brings us, as Sahaj was saying, into the neutrality. So I think we need a new one, another one.
What?
One,
I'm sorry. Neutral what?
neutrality.
Oh, okay.
So we need another, we have heart breath, we have frequency, forgiveness, we have, I suppose, the antidote to the frequency of fear with that, with our mudra. And I want to say, using the idea of the heart as a volcano, the frequency of love, but love is so amorphous and so it's, we almost need the vision of the volcano to it would be very hard to teach the frequency of love, but we can do it. I would like some other term because it's not concrete enough for the human mind. So something along that line, or maybe the frequency of forgiveness is, but that's more specific. So I love the reminder of the one-legged ones. Siri Gian, when she came up to Alaska, was very taken aback at the ferocity of the one-legged ones
Oh, God.
in Alaska.
They
So
were they were outrageous. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, and I wouldn't have, I mean, if you want to talk about some fear of the one-legged ones, that's, there's that too. Gian Das Prem brought up water, and I have a quote, but I can't, I mean, I remember it, but I, I don't have the exact words, but it brought up Dr. Emoto, where he was doing crystals, um, the looking at the crystals under a microscope of water that had been, was dirty or was pure or was vibrations added to it. And back when he was writing his books, we were all writing on our water jugs words like love or gratitude or peace or laughter or kindness, so that those physical words on a water jug were adding that vibration to the water, which then we drank. So I think the quote that I will have to remember where I found it, but if flowers, it's a whole nother writing about being kind to flowers and then and giving them love, and they respond. And if flowers can respond to those frequencies of kindness and all those other things that are part of love, then imagine how humans can also respond to that same vibration. So generally, that's what I want to remember, these simple things that we've had in the past, to resurrect them.
Good.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, dear. Okay, let's see. Okay, Jot Gian Devi.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. In my practice, I sit in meditative listening, asking, and feeling. Yesterday, I felt transformation with the actions in Iran. Instead of fear, which I expected, I felt transformation for humanity. This almost makes me want to cry. The beginning of world peace, a shift. I asked Baba if we had entered the time of a new human. The answer was yes.
Wow.
From this talk, I listened to Harimandir, and when she spoke of frequency of forgiveness and we need more, she's right. But I think we're going to not have to search for the answer. We're going to know. Maybe we need another, perhaps frequency. Yes, it's true. I say it is a mass frequency of humanity's shifting, and it will filter down through us and bring us broader new ways and needs resulting from our frequency shift. We will see what is needed with new eyes and new ways.
Wow. Okay, so you wrote those things?
Just now, during our time.
Good. Okay, so now from the last part of your paragraph, would you say it again and say
about
slowly?
Harry Mundar's reaction to my reaction to her, or from my what part? Okay, so when I asked Baba Siri Chand what's going on,
Yeah,
or the part where we're talking about frequency and new humanity.
yes, that part.
That part? Okay. As far as frequency goes, I say it is a mass frequency of humanity shifting, which will filter down through us and bring us broader new ways and needs resulting from our frequency shift. We will see what is needed with new eyes and new ways.
Wow. Okay, so when you were talking about other eyes, does that mean actually from eyes, or are you talking about other kinds of thinking? What are you talking about?
I think it happened, the way I saw it is with like the frequency of forgiveness. They are my eyes. When I use that, they are my eyes, and I am taught how to see. Given, it's a very powerful practice for me. So do I new eyes? How about new ways? Oh, no, I should actually say it differently. And I would never, if you don't talk about it, you can just say, please stop, and that's fine. When I saw the vision, the view of blowing up the nuclear power place in Iran, I went, oh my God, this is it. Forget fear, we're going. And I sat there as if I was in a cloud of beyond fearlessness. It was fearless. And I understood, oh man, this is so hard to say. I've been looking for how are we going to transform? What is it? What's going to happen? And it doesn't feel good. This one felt like trust in the process. We are here. That's why when I asked Baba Siri Chand, have we entered the time of the new human? I got yes. And I felt such, well, let's see, joy is not the right word. I felt like we are being led and we're finally there. And that, what does it take to be a new human? New eyes, new ways? I think it will just be a part of the process. I don't have total words for that, but I was totally taken But what I was seeing as a shift in our reality currently, right now, all is different. That it's not, I thought it was going to be like the end of the world, and maybe it's still going to be, but I don't think so. I felt an entire shift in our reality. It is happening, and we are being led. And that feels wildly crazy to me. And I totally trust what I felt.
Oh. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Isn't this wonderful all together? Isn't this amazing?
Yeah, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Japa Saraswati.
Ma'am, I scrolled up on the chat to see my questions from last week, which were why is fear so crippling and how to overcome paralyzing fear. And then I also saw Harimandir's wonderful question, or not question, but her remark was fear of being controlled by family, which I really, really have. So I asked Baba, I tuned in and sat with Solon and with Baba Siri Chand, and I asked, where does this fear come from? And what I saw was a core childhood sort of memory experience of me being a little kid and my dad being, quite brutal. And I know this sounds strange, but I would see on cartoons and movies as a little kid that it was the person who backed down who really got throttled in the fight. So I just decided never to back down. And my dad would really be, you know, brutalizing me. He would be battering me as a small child. And I felt like I had to be defiant in the face of it, that I couldn't show fear and that I couldn't back down in those moments, that it was somehow less. I feel ethical. My dad had all of these 11s in his chart that made him just really something else. Um, and and so I felt like it would make me like it would make me diminished somehow to back down. So in the face of fear, um, I really wouldn't. And my dad, it really would piss him off so much. It made him even angrier. When I think what he really wanted to see from me was how afraid I was. So I internalized the fear and I carried it around with me all the rest of the time because I didn't let it show, at the appropriate time to be afraid when somebody's coming after you. um, I just carried around this fear, and I realized that it's um, had a big effect on my life. So I sat there with Soul and with Baba Siri Chand and asked about, what to do with it. And so I was doing heart breath, and the answers that I got were that it's about deep self knowledge, that it's about being able to look at those things and to come at them with neutrality, to approach them with neutrality, and to so what I did was I did heart breath, and the message that I got was about showing love for myself, that in the face of fear, that instead of doing, I don't know how it happened quickly. I don't know that it's all resolved, but what I did was heart breath, and frequency of forgiveness for the karma that I put myself in that situation, that I fed into it for so many years. Oh my gosh, the sturgeon are jumping out of the water right now, like huge fish jumping. Um, and to um, be able to look at it not with detachment, but with a love for myself. And to then, what I heard was that it's okay for me to do self-preservation. Like I feel like I've always had enough extra that I was able to like grind down the rubber a little bit, because with digging in my heels, and I realized just how not energy efficient that is. That's not right use of energy. Um, and that I realized, the message that I got was to lavish love on myself, to really like, and that was my message from Satya this week. I had a session with Satya yesterday, and she said, just lavish yourself with with this, yeah, almost a self-preservation, but a self-protection. And the um and so what I heard then was, be not afraid, just move forward and be not afraid. And that was my healing for today.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Not, wait a minute. Not be the last part.
Be not afraid.
Uh-huh. Right.
It's from the Bible. I recently heard that that's the most often written sentiment or words in the Bible. The Bible tells you over and over again, don't be afraid, be not afraid, fear not. Um, it happens over and over and over again.
Mhm. And so how are you feeling?
I feel okay. I feel really good at being able, I hadn't even remembered, well, maybe I did, like, but it wasn't on the top of my mind about about why I do that, more just like the dog chasing its own tail, just that I do that, that when something is scary in my past, I'm so staid and fearless, but I think it's actually a form of masking, that it's actually this thing that I was doing. And then it caused me to really internalize the fear instead of express the fear at the appropriate time. So I think that also part of my message is that I'm allowed to express fear when it's happening. I don't have to be so brave. Like I find myself um, contorting into strange postures, um, to not to not look like I'm uncomfortable, and it's actually okay for me to say that I'm uncomfortable. Like it's I that brutality that I was met with as a child is not what I'm going to find now.
Hmm. Okay. So now I'm just going to ask you, how do you continue with this fearless situation or number of those?
Well, my message today has been about flying. I'm on the riverfront, and the sturgeon are massive. They're massive, and they're jumping out of the water, and they're getting just tremendous air. I mean, and they're all muscle. Can you imagine this? They're like more than 2 feet long, and they're just so much muscle that they're leaping out of the water and taking flight. And likewise, there's this eagle that's been circling around, and he's been floating, coasting, soaring on the thermals, and then he's been fishing a couple of times. So he dives into the water like a couple of inches under the water, and he tries to catch a fish. He hasn't caught one yet. And then he flies around and gains altitude and dries off. And that's sort of the message that I'm having the about these birds that keep soaring on the wind, and this fish that even when he's not in the water is continuing to jump and move forward. And that sort of, I guess I'm afraid of falling, or like I think I have this subconscious fear of falling flat on my face, like I'm going to do that and it's going to come out stupid, it's not going to work, whatever self-doubt. And just to take the example of these animals and have faith and keep on moving, like I can't just sit still because the river current is moving and the air currents are moving. Another one just jumped, like getting tremendous height out of the water. At least 4 or 5 feet out of the water. These fish are jumping. This maybe not 5 feet, 4 feet out of the water. It's tremendous. Um, and yeah, just keep going because the water isn't going to stop. The air isn't going to stop. You know, it's not like I can just stop the motion of the world because I'm afraid, because I'm paralyzed. I have to keep going and trust that there will be another current for me to catch.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
Mhm.
write it down. Goodness. Well, thank you.
Can I comment on that? This is
Yeah.
shocking. I also had a violent childhood with two brothers, not the whole family really. But it was life-changing as you're describing. I created violent ways to protect myself. And then to just I live entirely opposite of that now in my life, and it's absolutely such a treat. Every day I go, wow, this is great. But I have learned that when a child is raised that way, when it's the part of, it doesn't matter. I don't think you're exactly raised that way. Well, I don't know what that's about, but bottom line is a child will feel unworthiness and self-doubt in them.
Mhm.
Well, not me. No way. No, no, no. Some of those things you have to just embrace that. Also, there might be a gift and a power that you had to overcome. In that you overcame it, there must be a gift and a power given to you. It was to me. I do have a feeling of I'm going to be okay. But and I happened to have just received that yesterday. Unworthiness and self-doubt being a result of that. And maybe so, and probably so. But you can also override that with your awareness, as you were talking about, of what did happen there. I think once you sit and look at it, it's so amazing to me how resilient children are. And I also find it's a very loving act. I think God gives us the gifts of finding out the answers of why did that happen? Why were we given this? And there's a strength in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I would like to live it again, but there is a strength in it. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing that. It's a lot to share.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for that.
you.
Yeah, I
Well,
didn't know if I should say it.
I know, I understand that completely. Also why I thought just hang up, if just tell me to get off the phone. But it's a big deal when those kind of things happen. And yeah,
that's right.
thanks for sharing.
That's right. It's a total change, what you all were talking about, shift through your whole life.
Yes.
And we are really moving our own culture and more of that. But how do you say that? For the age? We hear about that age, but now we are beginning what that means, I think. So,
We've been talking about this a long time, like since we've known each other. And
that's
here
right.
we are. And it was yesterday when I was more of a vision again. All of a sudden, all fear, all the gonna blow up, you're gonna kill, everyone's killing everybody. I went, oh my God. And I saw it totally transform. And I went, that's a violent act. How can this be? It is that this is what I got. It is that is giving us now the openness for, I don't even know how I said that. Daggone it. It's a lot that I have said here to become the new humans. What is that? It is a higher level. It's a frequency that got me to Harimandir's thing. It is a frequency shift. That's why we're going to snack Harimandir. I'm not telling you it's the truth. It's what I'm thinking. I think we're going to see that we're in the frequency now. It makes me feel really happy. There's something already shifting, and I do not know all the world events out there. I'm just saying we're here.
Isn't
And
it
that's why we're
amazing?
going to know the next frequency. I think so. It feels very
Yeah.
big to me.
Yes. So obviously, what we were talking or have talked about apocalypse, and that's scary. But the other word for that is revelation, and here it is.
Really? Is that the opposite of?
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
in
Oh,
Greek,
that is amazing.
yeah. Go ahead with Japa Saraswati.
in Greek, apocalypse means revelation. That's where it came from.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like it. I mean, it just doesn't sound it. It sounds scary.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I'm so
Can
glad
I
y'all said that.
just say a couple of things? This is Aagia Pal.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to thank Jot Gian Devi and Japa Saraswati, everybody. And I really want to hail to Harimandir for holding the wisdom of this group. And as I listen, what she said today were two huge things, which we all talked about, right? Frequency of forgiveness, which Japa Saraswati, um, which, has embodied and others have embodied. And also, which has gotten me thinking here, is about the frequency of love and how and I think it's key, how we transmit, transmute, whatever you want to do with trans here, love. And in a way that people, in a way that maybe is more, I don't want to say concrete, but in a way that people can imbibe it more, and that is something that Harimandir brought up that I certainly am going to take with me to meditate on and with. So thank you, everybody.
Wonderful. Okay, well, so I guess stay with us and see what's happening.
Right.
Be in the moment, right?
And be not afraid, what Japa said, be not afraid, I go with you always, come follow me and I'll give you peace. Long time ago, Weston Priory monks put that into a song, and I remember just serially listening to that all the time. Be not afraid, I go before you always, come follow me and I will give you rest. And that's another prayer, I guess I would say, that helps me as well.
I would love to hear that if you come across a recording.
I know it was like when I was in high school, I was in love with these monks at Weston Priory, and would go up and this was one of my favorites of theirs. Yeah.
How do you say what it is now?
Oh, it was in Vermont, and it was the Weston Priory monks, and they at that time were making all these songs, and one of them was "Be Not Afraid," and the words were, "Be not afraid, I go before you always, come follow me and I will give you rest." And oh God, it sends chills right still. Music is tremendous for healing, right? Energetic healing. Imbibing the frequency of this music was crazy for me. It was just unbelievable. So yeah, so it's Be Not Afraid. I wouldn't have the faintest idea, but Japa Saraswati, you're so resourceful.
I'm already
You'll find it.
looking. I'm
Huh?
already looking.
I knew it.
They don't have a recording though from the Weston Priory monks. They have other.
Oh, come on. No.
I know
What did
they
you
have
say?
other ones. They have "Oh Lord, Be Not Far" from the monks of the Weston Priory, but they don't have them doing Be Not Afraid. They have other people doing Be Not Afraid, but not that specific one.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you for looking.
This is Harimandir. Since we're on the topic, last night, night before last, my son-in-law fell from a ladder and hit his head on a corner, and he has quite traumatic concussion, and he leads an IT firm, and he's forbidden now to look at a screen quite a while, but it's so heart breath for Sander Ivans and his accident as he recovered.
What's his name, please?
Sander, like Alexander, but Sander Schijvens. It's Dutch.
Oh, my.
Schijvens. Dutch is a little like Tlingit. That there's this language, but it's interesting. But it's serious, and it may put it out there for the healing.
Will do. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless you, dear. And Harimandir, would you sing?
Sure. And as I do these days, remind you to use, if you wish, the celestial communication as we sing the Sunshine Song, with the movement of the body that makes it concrete. So inhale deeply and exhale and begin. May the long time sunshine on you, love, love surround you, and love you, light within you, guide you way on.
Love you, love you, love you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Love
Bye,
you all.
everyone.
Thank
Much
you.
love.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye. Have